I don't know about you, but I like maps. It's a geek thing, I guess. I like maps. I like looking at maps. I will go online sometimes and look at old prints of old maps, or even Google Maps. Just look at places that I've been or would like to go, or places that I've never been and probably never will go to. I just like maps. They're very useful, very helpful, full of information. But some of you I know are GPS dependent, so let me just explain a little bit for you. They used to sell these things, and if you belong to AAA, you can get them for, just the cost of your membership. These things called maps, and they're pieces of paper that have diagrams on them of streets and roads and states and cities and so on. And they're very useful. You use them to get from one place to another, very much like you would use your GPS. But maps are better than GPS, I think, because you can see in a map how things relate to one another geographically and spatially. One of the first times that I was on Manhattan, I was walking around Manhattan, and I started down at Battery Park, and then I started walking north, and I just decided I was going to walk up Broadway back to 34th Street, where the train station was. And it's just neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood, and if you just watch, Law and Order or something like that on TV, you don't have any idea that these neighborhoods are just so close to one another. They act as if they're like, worlds apart, and in some ways they are. But they're so close geographically. And you don't get that necessarily from GPS. But GPS says, go here, turn here, do this, do that. And that's what you do. Maps are better. One of the favorite gifts I ever received was something that our daughter gave to me when she came back from England after studying there for a while. It was a map of Oxfordshire from the 1850s. And it's just this gorgeous map that somebody at some point yanked out of an atlas, I'm sure. But it has all these little towns and lanes and roads. And it's a fascinating thing to look at. But there are places that we have to go in our lives for which there are no maps. Right? I'm talking about the metaphorical journey of life that we all take. There are not maps that show us every step of the path that we have to follow. And it's that kind of journey on which Jesus sends his disciples. Not just the 12, maybe not even the 12 in this particular case, but 70 people he sends out as missionaries to bear the good news that he brought. In this early missionary journey that Luke tells us about, Jesus says, I'm going to go to X number of cities in towns, and I want you to go to all of those towns and prepare the way. He doesn't tell them how to get there. He doesn't tell them what roads they need to take. He just says, here's your destination. And he sends them out. They're not supposed to talk to anybody on the road. Isn't that interesting? Don't talk to anybody on the road. Don't carry any food. Don't carry any money. Don't carry any extra clothes. Don't carry an extra pair of shoes. Don't carry anything. Just get over to those cities and towns and preach. Choose your own path, in a way, he's saying. Just end up in this place. And when you go into the town, just go into a house. And if they welcome you, bid them peace. And if they don't welcome you, your peace will return to you. And you stay in that house for as long as you're in the town, preaching. And you eat whatever they give you, which is a really unusual thing for a devout Jewish person in Jesus' day to say. Eat whatever they put in front of you. Don't question it, just eat. And if you come to a town where they will not welcome you, then you tell them that you're just going to shake the dust of the town off your feet and you're going away. And it would be better for Sodom than it would be for that town. Here, this is 3 weeks in the last month that Sodom has come up in the reading. And in this case, it's very clear that the punishment of Sodom was because of inhospitality, because that's what Jesus is comparing it to here. These folks are not going to welcome you, which is their duty according to the culture. They're not going to give you something to eat. They're not going to listen to the message. Well, Sodom was better off. So these 35 or 36, depending on which version you're reading, pairs of people go out, healing, performing acts according to Jesus' will and Jesus' message and Jesus' ministry. And then come back. Doesn't say how long they were away. Doesn't tell anything about what they did, so I think we take it as given that they had done some healing and that they had certainly preached and people had heard and were prepared to receive Jesus. But they come back and what do they say? Wow, this is so cool. Even the demons submit to us in your name. Jesus says, well, yeah, I gave you authority. I gave you the power to do that. But don't be surprised about it. And don't think too much about it. Think rather that your names are written in heaven. This demon thing, while it's important, isn't why I sent you out, he's saying to them. What matters is that you were faithful to the mission.